Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast here on this Sunday evening. With me tonight, we have another guest, but first of all, I will introduce our usual contributors. So first up, we have Peter Ray Allison.
Hey, good evening, guys.
We have John Joe. No, we don't have John Joe. John Joe's not with us today. We don't have John Joe. It's just an automatic reply. We've got Josh Varney.
I was going to say, what's up?
Yes, we've got Josh Varney. We don't have John Joe. And finally, we have Scott Archer, a.k.a. Scott Wartooth, Scotty Wartooth, a.k.a. Tick Tock Jesus.
What's up?
So, Scotty, I'm relatively new to TikTok. I you know, as a lot of people sort of did, it because lockdown, they had nothing better to do, and I stumbled across you, and wow, it's just you know, oh, we're fucking frizzed out again. Sorry about it. I think I just zoned out there. My thing went out. We'll start that bit again. So yes, I was on TikTok as a sort of a noob, which did it through, you know, because lockdown, you had nothing better to do, and I noticed yourself, 2 million followers and counting, and your big thing is being Jesus. How did that all come about?
Well, originally I was doing this for a Comic-Con, like about 3 years ago, I think now. It wasn't really something I wanted to do from the start. It was my sort of friend group at the time, because of the long hair and beard and that, they just said, like, Scott, you should do Jesus. And it's like, no, it's Comic-Con. It's the wrong place. Like, I want to do more serious things. And they spent about a year pushing me to keep doing this. And eventually I just thought, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I bought a cheap fancy dress costume for Jesus. And I did this for the first day of Comic-Con just to sort of get out of the way. And it turned out on this very day, Danny Filth from the band Cradle of Filth was there signing. So I actually have a photo with like crossed arm, Jesus, like not impressed. And he had, I think it was his partner who also took a photo of this. And Danny Filth, he shared this on like every social media platform they had. And this photo keeps circling now. But I'd never had so much fun.
If I Google that, is it going to be on there?
Right. There was loads of people who just make loads of fun about it. I went to the bar afterwards, and people they're drunk. They'll have seen Jesus there. Jesus, can you turn my beer into wine? It's like, no, but give it to me, and I'll turn it back into water. Just takes a while. but, and I just kind of like, it was an easy costume, and I had so much fun, so I just kept doing it, and eventually came on TikTok, and eventually I thought, okay, let's do a Jesus one. And it turned out to be what was actually getting the best feedback. And next thing you know, I'm at 2.6 million for dressing up as a character I don't even believe in. So
that's the other ironic thing. You're an atheist, and your big thing is dressing up as Jesus. So how do the TikTok faithful take to that? Because every time I'm on one of your live chats, there's always somebody having a go. So how do you do it?
It's very mixed, to be honest. I mean, half my followers on TikTok appear to be very religious, but they actually have a sense of humor, and they realize that while I'm using Jesus and God as a subject of humor, I've never insulted their views like directly before believing it. In fact, multiple times I've actually defended like their beliefs a couple of times. But I mean, literally, the UK, it's the fourth country, like top countries following me. It's only in fourth place. The top is the Philippines.
Wow.
Then it's the USA.
Yeah.
And then it's Brazil, and then it's the UK. So it really has gone quite worldwide there.
And so was it literally a case of you saw the Jesus stuff was working, you went, fuck it, let's just do this? Because like with me, right, I have nothing similar to you. Like I have like what 17,000 followers or something stupid like that, and it's all of my dog, simply because people are more interested in my dog than they are in me. So I just went, all right, I'll just do my dog stuff then. And
yeah, I mean, originally the account was just going to be cosplay in general, and every now and then I do show off some of my other ones, like Miguel from Road to El Dorado, my pirate stuff every now and then, but they really just don't get the views. Because while TikTok is a great place for cosplayers, it kind of is and isn't good. Like TikTok gives you loads of tools to make good stuff if you are a cosplayer, but because cosplay is not as big a thing as people think, the majority of people are going to see it and just keep scrolling, which the algorithm just assume that no one wants to watch it. So your stuff just tends to bomb. But when I'm doing Jesus, it is technically cosplay, but it doesn't always get seen that way. It just gets seen as entertainment as Jesus. So that just seems to be why it takes off so well. But
what are your DMs like?
Well, for TikTok, you can't receive a message from people unless you both follow each other, unless you or process things differently, which is good, I think. But I do link my my Instagram account if people do want to contact me that way. I still get people contacting my Facebook, but that's for my personal sort of use. That's not for fans in a way, so I don't tend to read those ones. But Instagram wise though, it does get very hectic, but I can't respond to all of them. I like to at least have some sense of who's actually in there. So like people I actually know, some people who I don't, but I started talking to, and then but there's some people who are saying really, really nice things. Sometimes it's fan art. Sometimes it's Christians trying to challenge my atheism. Like one in particular who's been challenging me for months on end. He just keeps coming back, trying to challenge me to prove to me that the Bible is a history book, like 100% accurate. Right. I'm like, no. This I said to him, like, I'm willing to accept the Bible maybe loosely based on historic events, but not that literally. And his last attempt, he was trying to prove to me a second time that Noah's Ark literally happened. And
ooh, right, one of those creationists, then, eh? Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
I just said to the guy, like, look, according to the Bible, the Ark was 300 cubits, like, in size, which is only just half the size, like, only just bigger than half the size of the Titanic. According to Leicester University students, that with all the levels could fit up to 36,000 species. There are millions of species on land today, and that's not applying to the 99.9% of animals that no longer exist. How is that going to work? And he still comes back. If God's in the picture, he could do it. And I just kind of just thought, well, I suppose if Wallace can do it with a bunch of sheep on a motorcycle, yeah, I'm sure God can do it. Yeah.
math. You see, you can't fake math.
Oh man!
Like this is the thing. Like when people, if people are going to just give you that sort of argument, if they're not going to be reasonable when you try and use a logic like that, there is no reasoning with them. So
yeah,
I have a sense of where people willing to be sensible, but
I've generally found
against a wall.
I've generally found when like I'm an atheist too, so you know, and I'm quite vocal about it. So I find that when you're dealing with sort of the average sort of believer who you probably deal with, who has a belief but they're not sort of like hard line about it, you know, you get some quite interesting sort of debates out of it, and you know, you can come away with a sort of, you know, you can a view on their belief. You might not accept it, but you know, you can understand it. Whereas if you get the really hard line creationist types, they, you know, there's no point in arguing with them because they will not give in any way, shape or form, and it becomes slightly frustrating.
That's pretty fascinating conversations. I mean, I'm atheist, but I'm still fascinated in the religion. I mean, I'll show you one thing I got recently. It's a recovery edition of the New Testament, which is a direct translation from the ancient Greek and Hebrew, because I'm genuinely interested, like, to find something, well, as close as you can get to the original, because yeah, even the oldest ones we have are still late and altered, but yeah, I have good to do at some point.
See, that's a good thing that, you know, I found that if you're like, I'm an atheist, but I've read most of the holy books. So I've read the Quran, I've read the Torah. Being from Northern Ireland, I know the Bible was bashed through me from an early age and stuff. So I've got quite a good view on a lot of different religions and stuff. But I think you need that if you want to sort of, well, it's not even pontificating. It's if you want to have a debate with somebody who has a belief, you need to understand these things. And I'd be interested in reading that the direct translation actually. So is it called the revised version? What did you say it was called?
Recovered.
the recovery edition or version.
Okay, I might give that a whirl then. So what are the other sort of kind of cosplays and stuff? What is I believe you like doing the pirate stuff?
Yeah, I work on the side as a pirate. So I work for a little company called a Book a Mermaid, which is like a mermaid company like Silicone Tales and all that. And I work as a pirate alongside them for different festivals and things like that. So I used to work with a Jack Sparrow impersonator. Like I used to do Will Turner. I don't associate with this guy anymore, but for years I've been doing this work on the side as a pirate, and I don't know. I do a lot of sort of casual pirate sort of fashion, and yeah, I just quite like doing pirate work in general. So I just got quite used to it.
I'm so jealous of your hair, man. I used to have long hair like yours and Pete's back in the. I cut it off in 2013, so it's been 7 years now.
Why?
And it was a mighty mane. It was a mighty long mane. Went with my rock and roll image, and it's all gone now. And yeah, I see people with long hair, and I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous.
Like a lot of years.
It's getting past the bob stage though. So when you start growing it, and you get to that stage where it looks ridiculous, and you're just like, oh, I need to fight through this.
Does it? You look like Brian Molko with a bob. Actually, anyway, one question I want to ask, Scott, is why TikTok? I mean, there's YouTube, there's Instagram. Why TikTok? Why not in?
Well, I mean, I've been on Instagram for like about 7 years now, and I was stuck at about 2,400 followers for a while. And Facebook, I've been on for years. Snapchat never really liked. TikTok was just for the hell of it. I heard it was quite good for cosplay, and literally the first time I downloaded it, I actually deleted it because I couldn't work it out. Yeah. But a couple of months later, I just noticed like a load of my friends were still doing it and really recommending it. So I thought, okay, I'll give it another try. And yeah, I used some like YouTube sort of tutorials and stuff for a while. So, but at the time, I was mostly for a distraction from things. And next thing you know, I'm getting quite a lot of followers quite quick. But I mean, lockdown, to be honest, lockdown was a good time to actually get some focus in it. And there was quite a few things that happened during lockdown that actually helped me quite a bit. I actually had Tomska on YouTube actually had me in one of his videos. He was basically reviewing in one of his videos. He was just reviewing a load of TikTok videos that had used his like ASDF sort of content for videos. And mine was one of the first ones in there. And mine was like the main one he kind of complimented, and my one was actually in the thumbnail image of this.
All right.
I think this was about June time. I think it was either June or July. I think I partially blame this, but in that month alone, my followers went up by 500,000 in just 1 month.
And I was excited when I was getting like a couple of hundred. I was like, "Oh, look, Gosha, I'm getting fucking hundreds of followers."
It's a very strange app, but it has been very good for growth in general. It's opened up quite a lot of opportunities. I mean, do you guys know Cameo at all?
Yes. Are you on Cameo?
I am now. I've had a VIP invite basically, but I've yet to make a proper intro video for it. So that's looking quite good. I've got a partnership deal with Xavi at the moment as well. I'm still waiting for some items to actually work with, but yeah, I'm with them at the moment. So yeah, it's opening up quite a few sort of opportunities for like online sort of income and all that as well. So
well, I was going to say that
to other platforms. I'd like to try Twitch, but I'm just struggling to work it out.
Yeah, Twitch is. The thing is, if you have a fan base which you can potentially transfer stuff across, so
I should make the most of that, really.
Yeah. Well, it's the problem is you don't know where people are going to move to next, so you have to be kind of on the ball. We're a bit useless sometimes when it comes to it, so we're a bit late to the party with certain things. So, but you do have to be on the ball quite a lot. What I was going to ask you is, obviously now TikTok are paying money, and I've nearly got £1 in mine, which is awesome. But they're paying money now. Does that look like it could be a good thing for you then going forward if they carry on like that?
I think it needs a bit of work, because I know a lot of YouTubers tend to rely on like that sort of like income from the site as well. I don't know what the rate is for them, but for me, I mean, we in the UK, we had it like a month later than America did. But when I finally got accepted onto it, I was actually under a content block for 2 weeks.
No.
So it's like they put me under 1 week-long content block, and then less than 2 days after the ban was lifted, they gave me another one for another week. So that's 2 weeks I've been absent for on that. But within this time, I've had about, in the last week, about 8 million views in total for my videos. So far, it's gathered about 60 quid, which by the end of the month, I should be able to cash out.
Nice.
It's nice, but you know, I would never be able or anything with that. So it's nice to have a little bit at the end of the month, but it's
like 2p for 1,000 views, from what I've been told. 2p for 1,000 views and stuff. So it's good.
Never pay much. I mean, when it comes to like the live stream, like you pay. And if you pay for an online currency that you can pay to other TikToks, like you pay for gifts, and then you give to TikTokers who they can then cash that out, and then what they cash that out as, they can go direct to the PayPal. But what you've just paid to give to another TikToker, they take about 70% of what you've just paid. So since I get in the live streams, it's only about 30% of it. So when somebody sent me the most expensive ones, or even like 10 of them sometimes, I feel really bad because they will have spent so much more than what I've actually received in that. So I always say to people, I've never asked for donations. I'm not going to tell you don't, but if you really want to, please do it by my PayPal, because at least this way your money doesn't disappear. And they don't do it. They always just keep doing it through the TikTok, and it's like, no, your money's getting eaten. Just.
I suppose they think they're firing loads of money your way, and the TikTok monsters sort of taking 70%.
Yeah, they don't realise how much the money they actually take, but I'm hoping things will change in the future. I mean, especially because America, they're trying to buy it at the moment, so I'm hoping things change a bit, but we'll have to see about that one.
I've heard rumours of that TikTok could be banned in America, and if that happens, potentially in the UK as well. That is purely rumour and conjecture.
Well, that's why they're trying to sell. They're trying to buy it. So basically, Trump's basically turned around, as in and said, Microsoft or whoever, if you buy this, fine, but if you don't,
Oracle are now saying they'll buy it.
I think they have, but it's not what he wanted it to be Microsoft, but TikTok said no, we're not going to go with that. They apparently went with Oracle instead, but apparently that wasn't good enough for him, so he's banned it. But it was supposed to be that it wasn't the app wasn't getting taken down, it's just that you couldn't buy it on the App Store if you haven't got it already. But from what I hear, Google haven't actually responded to that, so you can still actually download it on there. So this ban is not really much of a ban.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the wall, isn't it? The wall that never.
I don't think on these. Like the 5th time now we've had a scare of TikTok getting banned. It's like every time at the last second nothing happens. So.
Why is TikTok such a controversial subject? It's the best way to put it.
Basically, it's a Chinese-owned app, but it's supposedly owned by the Chinese government. That's the concern there, because as any social media app, it's going to take your details, your data and information to learn from you, the same way Facebook does. But they don't like the idea of the Chinese government doing this. That's why they want to say, basically, they want to buy it so that people can still use the app, but they don't have to worry about China harvesting American intel, even though American intel is kept in Singapore. So it's confusing, really.
Yeah. I'm happy for them to take pictures of my dog for loads of money and stuff. It doesn't bother me.
They're looking at my content just. Jesus.
We got Eleanor on Twitch says, "Oh, I tried to get you on the podcast tonight, Eleanor, and you just didn't reply to me. Horrible, horrible person." It's getting more and more crazy. Twitch takes 50%, but I swear media used to always take less than half, so that the user still got the majority share. I don't get how it's becoming acceptable for corporations to take so much. And then we've got another one from Twitch. The Lubiloo, I think, is being bought by a company after coming to a deal with Trump administration last night, I think. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Do you know what the Lubiloo? Do you know what company that is?
Yes, please let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. That'd be interesting. What just on around that? You talked about content bans. Why are you being content banned? Why are you being banned?
Because I basically upset a bunch of American conservative type of Christians. I do get the hate for the content that I do, but it used to be mostly India that was giving me the criticism. But this dropped when India banned the app completely. So for a while it was fine, but then when it came to Pride Month and some of my content being supportive of LGBTQ and that as Jesus, it upset a lot of people. For Pride Month, I replaced the red sash with a pride flag.
Yep.
And for the next like over the last few months, I've done a few other videos as well. Like I met some other content creators, like two who were a lesbian couple, and I did a video as Jesus, basically saying like, I don't care if she's gay, I care if she's loved, I care if she's happy, and that's what you should care about. What is wrong with you that you don't? And I end the video just giving them both a hug, and it's a nice little video, but it upset a lot of people who were making videos about me saying, Scotty, you know nothing about the Bible. It says here, Leviticus, you shall not live with a man as you would with another man. It is an abomination. Corinthians, homosexuals not be allowed into the gates of heaven. And I'm just like, well, Leviticus is Old Testament, so unless you want to get circumcised or sacrifice your children for cursing your parents and all that, then you don't need to obey that. Corinthians, well, the word homosexual wasn't in the Bible until 1946, and the word wasn't even by Germany. Like,
I saw something on that actually recently, that it was 1946 in Germany that it got changed, and it was actually the case that it meant you wouldn't lie with a boy and not with lie with men.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if that was true or not, or if that was just sort of.
It's 1822. Originally, the translation was supposed to say young boys, not other men. But when it came to like the word homosexual in Corinthians 6:10, I think it was, it basically says how homosexuals not be allowed into the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, well, the word homosexual wasn't even invented until 1862 by Germany, and they didn't even have it in their copies until it was their copy was bought out by an American company called Biblica. Before then, the word they had was not homosexual; it was a Nabunshanda, which means boy molester.
Wow, fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well,
I wonder why Christians didn't want that one to be revealed.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. There's a lot of sort of. Have you read any of like the God Delusion by Richard Dawkins or anything like that?
I started on that one actually. I got very distracted because I go to and from a different books. I have this one, an audio book I want to go back to again, but I keep jumping from like history, philosophy, bit of science, and other things like that. So I was halfway through it and I got distracted. So I need to come back to it at some point.
It's really good because it makes a fair few points on that. It's also like I'm a massive fan of Richard Dawkins, so I've been to see him live, and I've got a signed book. You know, I went to see him in Manchester when he came up and stuff. But the God Delusion is so good. Just like it just makes you think about everything. It's just even down to the sort of the biology of it all, evolution of man and things, and it's just sort of like it makes so much sense. It just sort of it's such an interesting book. But if there's a book you should read, and it's so good when it comes to just sort of about the history of religion in general, it's called The Shadow of the Sword by a historian called Tom Holland, and it's basically about the foundation of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And it sort of ties it in with, paganistic gods in Rome, and also Zoroastrianism in Persia and stuff. And it is so good because it basically is a narrative history, but it basically does it in a way that's kind of like, so these religions kind of borrowed from each other a lot, and you can see it because of this and this and this.
It is between different religions, like even like Christianity and ancient Greece. But like one book I like to refer to every now and then, it's by Noah Yuval Harari, I think the name is. It's Sapiens, a brief history on humankind.
Okay.
It's about religion as such, but it makes a very interesting sort of out of perspective point about how mankind gets to that point. Like, so let's say consciousness is like identifying food and enemy. Stage 2 on that, unconsciousness, is like thinking on behalf of somebody else. Like in a wolf pack, you're thinking there is a lion over there on behalf of other people. Then there's stage 3 when you're saying something that's not true. So like monkeys, for example, if a monkey sees a fellow pack member that's got food, it will make the panic cry, there is a lion over there. The monkey will drop its food and run, and the monkey will just steal the food and eat it for himself. Cheeky, but that's another stage when they're lying about something. The next stage from that is when you make up an entire reality, religion. And why do they do this? Because it actually keeps people organized, because it gives them something, it's a common interest to keep them loyal and work effectively. It's why the great kings of England all claim to be a descendant of King Arthur, because even though there's no actual evidence he existed, King Arthur has an entire story to actually abide by. It gives people a common interest to actually live by. When they think that their king is actually a descendant, they believe they are living in that reality. So it's exactly how the religion works. They all have a common ideology to work effectively, and that's just the way it works, really.
Wow, what's the name of that book? I'm well reading that. What's it called?
It's Sapiens, I think a brief history of humankind. It's by Noah Yuval Harari, I think.
Right, I'm writing that down.
What did you think of Dogma, by the way?
How we've actually worked like that with ideology, like how, like the legend of Peugeot. Where does Peugeot exist? Is it the cars? Nope, that's just a product of the company. Is it one of the warehouses? Nope, it's just a building they happen to make these products. Is it the man who owns Peugeot? Well, his surname is Peugeot, but no, he is just a man who's created the company. Is it the logo? Nope, it is just a logo, as much as the cross is a logo of Christianity. So where does Peugeot exist? In our heads. It is a company, it's a brand idea that we all work by. So it employs thousands of people, it has its shareholders, it pays its taxes, it makes its products and all that. And yet the entire thing, the entire like dissolution could be mandated by a court judge, just like that.
Yeah, I did a degree in military history, and one of the courses, one of the modules was named "It's Not the Truth, It's What You Believe," and it was basically about people believing in things because of a fallacy. You know, it was about certain things that people have this like really strong sort of, you know, drive towards, like kilts. Kilts aren't Scottish. They're basically an English invention. Tartan obviously is, but the kilt came in from the British royal family and stuff. So it's, you know, obviously descended from, well, I suppose the modern ones are German actually, not Scottish, but yeah. So and you've got like cricket was Belgian, and there's lots of things. Bagpipes originated in Pakistan, apparently. Yeah, bagpipes originated in Pakistan. So you've got lots of these things that people hold true to because that's what they've been told, that's what they believe, and they will fight blind because that's what they've been told. Therefore, they don't want to know any different. And that's what it is. It doesn't matter about the truth. It's just what you believe, and that's so true about especially society today. You know, it isn't about the truth of Black Lives Matter or you know any issues as big as that. It's about sort of, you know, how people believe things, and you know, I believe that there.
How you are sort of educated on the subject is it's very easy to like sort of manipulate people and get people very fixated on that. It was a video I saw recently. It was like a guy in like a uni class. He has like two circles, one red and one blue. It says, now, would you say these are the same size? Like, yeah, okay, well, they're not. So you tell me which one's the bigger one. Yeah? And who here thinks it's the red one? A bunch of students put their hands up and said, okay, how many of you think it's the blue one? Okay, well, you're both wrong because they're exactly the same. But because I just simply told you that the one was bigger, you suddenly got fixated trying to work out what was the truth. And you were very convinced of an argument you had in your head. It's that easy for like to be manipulated into thinking one thing when it's not true at all. So literally when you're brought up with something, like you've been told it enough times that you just believe it as the truth. Like some people in Britain, they tend to get very angry when you tell them that tea is not actually British.
Yeah, well, yeah. The one thing in the God Delusion, he kind of Richard Dawkins talks about is about sort of, and I feel bad. I don't want anybody who's of the religious persuasion who's listening to this to be offended. You know, I appreciate we myself, I'm an atheist, and obviously Scott's an atheist, and Pete is. I'm not sure, Josh, what your sort of belief system is. I won't put words into your mouth, but it's not. I'm not trying to. What's the word? I'm not trying to be
diminish.
Diminish your religion. It's just a belief of mine, and obviously the discussion. So by all means, you're welcome to have your beliefs and believe what you want. If you're a good person, it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah. So in Richard Dawkins, he basically says he hates it when you have Christian or Muslim or Jewish kids, and he says a kid has it can't make a decision. You can't have a child being a religion because they haven't been able to make a decision. You can have parents who are Jewish or Muslim or Christian and stuff, but you can't have a child because the child can't make the decision. He's just being told, and it's because back in the day, and kids are like sponges. They will just believe everything because that's how they're evolution, that's not even the word. That's how evolution works. Basically, don't eat the red berries. They're poisonous. Don't go over and pet that thing. It will kill you. And in the sky, believe in him. And it's just like, they zoned out.
Because they're not old enough to understand like what it is they are consenting to. It's exactly the same reason as that. But at the same time, like I get that, but I don't really know how to what extent you do raise a kid. If you are religious and you do believe that you are supposed to live a good life by that sort of way, I'm not exactly sure how I would recommend somebody to. I couldn't tell somebody how to raise their kid, but I
understand that. It's just I think it's just
at all. But they've never forced a certain way for me to live. They've just kind of let me have my free way of just taking my own knowledge and just living how I see fit with it. So.
Like I grew up in Northern Ireland, so I went to I was baptized Protestant. My father was Protestant. My mother is English Catholic, and my sister and brother were baptized Catholics. I had to go to both churches, so I had to go to Catholic and Protestant church. Just because of that, and so I had two completely different views on religious texts, on what it meant and stuff. I preferred Catholic church because I didn't have to go to Sunday school. It was shorter, and I didn't have to sing songs, and it was literally, every now and again you got free bread and wine, so it was just sort of, but I obviously came out the other side. I wouldn't sort of, if it was for my child, I think I would say, look, if you want to believe in this, then that's fine. If you want to read up on it, that's fine. But I wouldn't force it upon them and say, no, you have to do this. You have to. You
have to accept the decision that they make. I mean, you can't force your opinions on a subjective matter on your children. I mean, they have to make their own opinions. And to be fair, my children are doing exactly the same thing. My eldest has turned out, I said, religion's not for me. No. My eldest son, he's going, he's about 8 or 9, and he's going, I think there's a heaven up there. I'd like to think of that. Fair enough. That's your decision. And I said, I personally disagree, but if you wouldn't believe that, that is your decision. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong. And you just have to kind of show them the options, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the end, as a child, it's your duty as a parent to want to, protect these children. And if you believe strongly that that's a danger, that if they don't believe in, that's why they will do it. So I understand that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I understand the argument. Basically, as a child, you're a sponge. You will just pick up what you're told to do because that's what children do, and that's how they survive.
Basically, what you do is you just sorry, Josh, you were saying.
So this is the kind of thing I've been trying to teach my two for the last couple of weeks, because they've been having conversations in school where opinions vary. Let's just say that nicely. My daughter just had a superhero day in school, and her teacher's education of all things superhero was lacking severely, to which you could have told my daughter that Batman has always dressed in black, to which she was very shocked to find good old Adam West in his grey and blue, rocking it like he did, and realised then that Batgirl actually appeared in a sparkly purple outfit and a yellowy cape. To which she looked at hers, all in black, and started asking me questions. It was like, this I encourage. Ask questions, because nothing you're ever told is always the 100% fact. Unless you say gravity sticks or water is clear, as long as you can see it, you can identify it, or you have the facts in front of you, then it's the truth. I mean, it's the old the Sherlock Holmes metaphor. If you delete the impossible, if you understand the improbable, then what remains has to be the truth. And that's all I've had in the last couple of days is, Dad, what's this? What happens next? What else can we read? So far, they've nicked half my library of Marvel, DC stuff in their room, just because education everywhere is good. It's the same way as religion. It's okay to ask questions. I mean, my gods are old gods. They drink, they fight, they curse. They're shown in many adaptations of film, literature, song, everything otherwise, because Norse pagan. So it's this, obviously this verbiage and education is always great to have a decent conversation with people where somebody's views aren't always the right one and they're aggressive towards it, especially because it's their right, you're wrong. And I've always welcomed this kind of conversation. It's always a great conversation to have.
As long as there's conversation, though, and I think we discussed this when we were talking about teaching a few weeks ago, where you have certain teachers, and I've used this example before on the podcast, but I just remember it very vividly. It's like I was in English class, and they had a stand-in teacher. And the stand-in teacher was a born-again Christian. And she thought she would, ingratiate herself with the class by having a bit of a debate. So she started talking about abortion and, and started talking about sort of that thing. Now, this is Northern Ireland, and it literally has only been forced upon people in Northern Ireland, to be, like, brought into the 21st century now. Like, in 2020, it's just happened. This is, like, this is easily 1995, something along those lines. And I just remember sort of, at the time just thinking, I just kind of went, well, I'd seen a documentary about Descartes, and I sort of went, I think, therefore I am. And I said, as a chat, I said, well, I think therefore I am, it's not a problem because, if you don't have a memory and stuff like that, I can't remember exactly what I said about it and stuff, but she went absolutely mental at me and and told me I was wrong and told me I nearly got kicked out of class, and I felt that I had done something wrong. And it was because I just didn't agree. And I think back at now, it's just like I didn't agree with her point of view. But that was just how they are. And if you get teachers like that who aren't trying to discuss the matter with you, who are trying to force their agenda on you, that's where you got danger, and that's where you have an issue and stuff. And that's where it can affect, because it affected me as a child. I grew up thinking I was wrong and I had done something wrong, and that sort of stuck with me till now. I can feel it now. So it's just one of those things. Got a few messages. We've got Cassandra on Facebook, says hello there. Hello, Cassandra. And she's on, I'm not sure if it's the same Cassandra or another Cassandra, but she's on Twitch as well. She's hello there. And then we've got the Luby Lou. Oh yes, she's come back with our answer. She's done some research for us. Oracle, yeah, they made a deal with Oracle and Walmart. It's on the BBC apparently. Then we've got more. We've got the Luby Lou says yes, Norse gods ! For Josh. Cassandra says this talk reminds me of my mythology class, where heroes often go against their parents in order to do something right. Yeah, hang on.
Classic mythology.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. we'll move on from the slightly more serious stuff. As much as it's good, I think we could chat about that for quite a long time. So conventions, Scott. What's the big one for you? Which one do you go to most often?
I usually do the MCM Comic Cons mostly, Birmingham and London, but my favourite ones are actually more the pirate festivals. Like I did a small sort of a pirate meet in Whitby a couple of weeks ago. It's usually bigger, but obviously because of COVID, you couldn't have an official one. But it's because they're charity based. We usually like to try and raise for Yorkshire Air Ambulance, and yeah, it's a free sort of event to go to. It's just a gathering of like pirates, have a bit of fun, have a few drinks in the pub, go to a beach party, have a bonfire, sing, and all that. It's so much fun, and it's a small sort of, well, I'll say smaller community. There's a lot of us, but Whitby, it's more personal sort of group. Go somewhere like Brixham, it's the entire harbour full of people for a pirate there. But it's so fun. I went for my first one last year, and I was looking forward to going for it again this year. So,
yeah, lockdowns put a pause on a lot of things. I was meant to be going across the America at some point, and that's been kiboshed. So, yeah, I'm assuming you've never been to any of the American conventions before.
No, but I am in talks with a TikTok at the moment, Jonathan Rivera, about going for Orlando next year for a MegaCon. At the moment, like I'm 100% down for it. It's just a case of like where things are going with COVID at the moment. Because America is, I'm just constantly seeing like the American sort of anti-mask protests, the constant case rises. But at the same time, it's like, well, we just had like thousands of people doing that in London.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like I can't really be a hypocrite as such. But that doesn't mean, well, I don't know. It's months away from now, but I don't know where it's going to go. Are we going to go into another lockdown? Are they going to go into another lockdown? Am I going to pay for a flight ticket only for it to be like down the drain? I don't know. So.
Yeah, it's the uncertainty of it all, isn't it? That the uncertainty is the emotional. I think like there's some good things that have come out of lockdown in that. You know, I'm working from home from now, and it's awesome. I love working from home. I don't have to get up at stupid early. I don't have to spend stupid amount of money putting my dog in doggy daycare. You know, I've got, you know, it's awesome. I'm really loving it. I've got bigger screens. I've got more technology I can use for work. It's great. More flexibility and stuff. But conversely, you know, I'm a massive tabletop gamer. Can't just wander off and play tabletop games because, you know, COVID. Can't, you know, tournaments and stuff aren't as many. Conventions aren't really around at the minute. There's not as much sort of freedom to do things as you want, which is, you know, slightly frustrating. And because there doesn't seem to be an end in sight at this moment in time, you know, it's an issue, isn't it? And then we talked about this last week, the vaccines, and then people are sort of kicking off. They're not having vaccines because they're going to have microchips in them, you know. And it's just like
no. It's going to be a joke now, that, to be honest.
It's so the people who started moaning like they're like microchipped or like all these like conspiracy theories like the government's out to get you. They're the same people who voted for this very government in the first place, and then they complain that the government's trying to do this weird conspiracy shit. Well, stop voting for them then.
Oh, sweet irony! Yeah,
they're also the ones who think the Earth is flat as well.
Oh man, there's some crazy people out there, and there's like I have much love. If you've got a different view of me, I'm very happy to hear it and understand it. There's two sets of people who I refuse to accept. And that's flat earthers and creationists. I'm just like that stuff's dangerous. It's just like I think it's irresponsible to have even a view on that, and it's those sort of things. I'm like, there's no way, and I will happily argue with them about it. It's just like, the world is not flat, and the world did not get created 6,000 years ago. All right, it's just one of those things.
What a great graphic novel to have: creationists versus flat earthers.
Well, you got that thing. People are saying they'll have a flat Earth sort of reality TV show where they stick them on a boat and see if they can get to the end of the Earth, sort of thing.
I would pay money to see that.
Oh, or stick them in space, you know, just, you know, go up far up as they can and stuff, and it's just like, here we go. We've got
a one-way flight, and if God is real, he'll help them.
Eleanor says on Twitch, but Darth Jar Jar is the truth. That one we keep. What? Really? Darth, apparently in the canon, Jar Jar got absolutely shafted after his sort of his council sort of speech, and was on Naboo. Basically a street performer, basically. So he couldn't have been a Darth, as you argue, Eleanor.
You sit there going, "This I need to eat, please." Come on, Darth Jar Jar, give me a break.
I'm
gonna say, Scotty, I mean, we've got to have you at MCM 1 year dressed as next to me is Silent Bob and you as the Buddy Christ, because that's just a picture perfect idea right there.
I've to a few like Silent Bobs and just done the Buddy Christ thing a few times.
Amazing, absolutely amazing, man. You should definitely, if you ever get the chance to go to an American Comic-Con, you should. Like, they just blow your mind. Been to myself and Josh have been to San Diego Comic-Con, and it's absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Like, stupidly hot, as Mr. Varney noted in his piece about it. But yeah, it's awesome.
I lost 6 stone just walking outside my hotel room. Holy, and I'm a fat bastard, and I thought, Jesus Christ, how are you still alive, people?
Me, like, I don't tend to leave the country much. I mean, I went to Tenerife back in 2018, and before that, it had been about 9 years since I've been abroad. So, yeah, I only went because a few friends of mine were organising to go, and I just sort of like, yeah, I was kind of part of the group, and I thought, all right, why not? So we went. It was a great time, but yeah, that was just. I wasn't expecting to do it again for a while.
I think it'd be great for you to go dressed as Jesus and walking past San Diego to see all the Scientologists freak out at the scene of you.
Like, what I want to do is like all those sort of anti-gay sort of like protests and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to one of those. You ever seen the photos like a guy dressed as Jesus with a sign, like a pride sign saying "I'm cool with it"? While he'd be like, I want to do this, but I've never known one of those happen in the UK. If there is one in the UK, I want to know so I can go over and have a laugh. But it seems like mostly an American thing, so it's on my bucket list.
Eleanor says on Twitch he needs to go back to Jerusalem just once. On a donkey. You need to get a donkey.
That might be dangerous. Just saying. That might be a bit dangerous.
Around with the donkey. They are wonderful things.
In the D&D game that we myself and Pete play in on a Thursday night, he's got a mule called Mule Brenner.
You know what? Like I don't play D&D. I don't know how it works in that, but I literally went on Hero Forge recently and created a Jesus-like character.
Oh man, Hero Forge is awesome. So good.
Long haired robe-like thing. And I did 2 different versions. One just like loaded with guns, like AK-47s, and then one with like a sword and like a fireball hand or something. Like, it was fun to play with, but yeah.
Cassandra says, Scotty, you should just go to a fellow sinner dressed as Jesus and shout, "I've come for you!" exclamation mark.
I would do that for a laugh, just like of all the Lucifer sort of cosplays. "I've come for you."
Just randomly walk up to Tom Ellis going, "We need to have a chat." This shit is going to end.
Oh man.
God.
Yeah. What I was going to say, yes. We'll not spoil it for you, Scotty, because obviously you haven't seen it. But we've all watched the new Bill and Ted's. And what did you think, Pete? With spoiler free.
Okay, I thought it was really good. It wasn't brilliant. It wasn't as good as Excellent Adventure, but it was good overall with moments of brilliance. And I will say that the actresses they brought in to play the daughters of Bill and Ted were spot on. They mimicked Keanu Reeves and Alice Winter's mannerisms.
One of them's Hugo Weaving's.
Yeah, Samara Weaving played
Weaving.
Ted. No, Bill's daughter, and she kind of she mimicked his, like, the way Keanu Reeves as Bill kind of cocks his head. She kind of mimics that as well, and it was just There's little kind of touches really nailed the fact. Yeah, these are daughters. These are daughters of their fathers, and yeah, it's really well done. I will add one thing. I completely guessed that ending, that it was the daughter. No spoilers.
Honestly, I don't think I watched the original, so I'm. Yeah.
Pardon?
Is that? Ooh, interesting. Is that I don't really watch a lot of films, sort of thing, or is he just not interested?
There's a lot of films I have yet to watch, to be honest. I don't really tend to get spoilers, but there's just so much like loads of people are going always on about, and I've just not seen, like Labyrinth, not seen it.
Wow,
it's okay.
What are the other ones then? Throw some big ones in there.
Okay,
we'll go. Lord of the Rings trilogy. Have you seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Lord of the Rings, yes, I love Lord of the Rings. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you've ever seen. I got a new lightsaber recently. Where is it?
Oh my god!
Nice.
Holy shit!
If that's an Andril. Oh,
that's an Andril. Oh, I've got the sword. I got the replica sword of that, but that
I've
lightsaber.
Got the sword, yeah.
Sweet. Oh, mate, that's awesome. Where did you get it from? What's the company?
It's on Etsy and Facebook. It's Tethan Props or Tethan.
Typing that in now.
Yeah, they've got. I don't know if he does any of these ones still, but he's a bunch of Lord of the Rings based lightsabers. He's recently done the dual wield Legolas ones, the daggers. He's done a Gimli, a Gandalf.
He has
the Sauron one.
Cool. The Sauron mace is a lightsaber.
Well, you know those adaptable lightsabers I got many moons ago. See, I basically have lightsabers from Saberforge, which you can basically, all the parts come apart and you can basically screw them in and make different ones. And I made a polearm with like effectively like a Sauron sort of like type bottom to it and stuff. And it's awesome. I actually brought it when I did my sort of guard.
Yes, I remember that from UK Games Expo.
Yeah, UK Games Expo. But yeah, awesome looking lightsaber that. Eleanor says Jedi Jesus when.
Noise, but it's still cool.
Cassandra says, I bought a Star Wars bandana from Etsy. I bought something bigger from Etsy, which cost me a fair bit of money. I bought I can't even show it to you because it's in a protective box at this moment in time, but it's basically a diorama of Luke's X-Wing getting sort of force lifted from the swamp by Yoda, and it's amazing. It's like one of the coolest things I own. It's such a cool model. It's second only to my Hoth scene diorama that I've got upstairs as well, but it's such a beautiful thing. Cost me a little more than I thought it was going to be because I didn't read the fine print, but there you go.
Always read the fine print.
Man, I just got it. It was just like, I'll not tell you how much it could cost, but I paid the money and went, that's not too bad, for what it is.
All that. It's like
import taxes and stuff as well, and it's just like I got it
like years ago. I tried to buy a Native American flute, like 25 quid for the flute itself, but then when it came to like all the import taxes and everything like that, I paid like a total of 95 quid.
Oh man, yeah, import taxes are absolute nightmare. Yeah. In my defense, this one's import taxes, it came from Russia, was only 3 quid, so it wasn't as bad. Now, when I got my Hulkbuster from Sideshow Collectibles, that was absolutely insane, the amount of tax they fired onto that, because it just made it so much more expensive than it already was. But yeah, the Star Wars diorama I got it, I was like, oh my god, this isn't too bad actually for what it is. I was like, yeah, I'm on that. Bought it, paid for it, and then I got sent photographs. I was like, this is amazing. And then he sent me a message saying, right, you just pay what's remaining, and I'll send it out to you. And I was like, but I've already paid it. And he went, no, that's just a deposit. You need to pay this as well. And I was like, no. So I had to buy it, and it's just like, oh well, I'm not losing that deposit. So I just went and bought it. But yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing. So I've got it more than it was probably worth. Well, no, it's not more than it was worth. It's worth, it's a beautiful thing, but yeah, not as much as I thought it was going to be, basically. More messages. The Lulu planning on doing Darth Ray costume cosplay for the next MCM. Oh, right, nice.
Cool.
Eleanor says, I desperately want the Ashoka Hot Toys, and I want the Ashoka and an Ashoka lightsaber. Yeah. Oh.
Geary?
Yes?
How are you pronouncing that?
Ashoka?
Ahsoka.
Sorry, yeah. I'm
calling
dyslexia on that. I'm calling dyslexia. Because I put an SH in there and there wasn't even an S in there. So that's kind of what I did. Like,
because I can feel the force of all Star Wars fans just going, what the fuck did he say?
Yeah, Eleanor says, thank you for the correction in all capitals. I was like, all right, jeez, nerds. Jeez, fucking hell. Yeah, man, my dyslexia is fucking horrible. Like, I remember I was walking past this church in Manchester, and I was like, why is there an American church here? And my mate looked at me and went, what? I went, an American church? I went, it says Armenian, you fucking idiots. And I was just like, oh shit, yeah, it does. And in my mind, it was America. And I honestly, when I read it, I said America. It was just like, yeah. There you go.
Oh God. Do you say chest mist as well?
Okay. Scotty, where can people see? I think somebody said on the stream and comments, where can, they're not on TikTok. Where else can they see your wares? Where can they see TikTok Jesus and your piratical rumbustifications?
I'm still on Instagram as well under the same name as Scotty Wartooth, but I don't tend to post all my videos there. I post some sometimes in my stories, but other cosplay work and all that all goes there. So, yeah.
So basically, Instagram. You got a YouTube? Sorry, you got a YouTube?
I do have a YouTube channel. I've got 2 actually, but I haven't really got anything on there. Like my one Scotty Wartooth, I haven't got anything on there because I don't have a computer or anything to make videos with that's not a TikTok. My older one I've had for years, I haven't posted since 2013. There are some probably funny videos to watch. I mean, you guys remember the Screaming Goat compilation, the videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the heavy metal compilation one?
No. I've seen the cat one.
Nah, I did it one a while ago while it was still sort of popular at the time. It was just a compilation. It starts off with Slayer, like Angel of Death. And there's a bunch of like different like metal sort of ones in there. I just put into one go, and it passed over 1 million views. But yeah, which wasn't bad for a small account. It was like originally I was just posting like concert videos and stuff in there, but yeah, there's not really. Yeah, I've not really yet got anything proper on YouTube at the moment. But
Louis says, Scott, you should do Instagram Reels.
I don't really know how they work exactly.
I think it's like TikTok, but it's just Instagram trying to sort of basically get in on them. Yeah, I saw it as well, but it's just literally it's Instagram trying to basically out TikTok basically.
Yeah, that's a fairly apt description from what I can understand of it.
Yeah, it's basically just that and stuff. One thing I was on TikTok, my girlfriend, and she was showing me this video, and it's basically this lass, I can't remember her name, and all she's doing is that zoom in face thing, and she's just doing eyebrow movements with, I can't even remember, it's the banjo song that seems to be sort of trending. I think like 12 million views, and I'm just like, come on, man, come on.
It's really strange, to be honest. Like even with me, I find that the videos that I work the hardest on don't tend to do well, whereas the ones I just half-assed don't do much on, they blow up. Like, I had one about a month ago I posted. Literally, it's just it's a split screen video, but me duetting somebody else. It's like they'd on Minecraft, they'd used all the blocks to make a pixelated sort of giant portrait of Jesus. And all I've done is like dressed as Jesus, doing a mild sort of reaction while he's close in, put the last few blocks in, and he zooms out to show what the portrait actually is. And like as Jesus, I'm sort of mildly reacting to it. That's all I did. It's reacting to somebody else's work. 13 million views.
Oh man, that's absolutely mad. Like I obviously don't have that many, but I remember sort of like, I remember when I first got on TikTok, me and my girlfriend did a Ron Burgundy one, you know, do you know who I am? And you know, I'm a big deal sort of thing. And I thought it was amazing because it took me ages doing it back and forth and stuff. It's like, this is going to be fucking mad. This is going to blow up. And it's like 500 views or something stupid like that. It's like, oh man, that's hilarious. And then my first ever sort of big one of 250,000 views is basically me filming my gate going, my dog's escaped, and that was basically it, and it got like 250,000. I was like, what's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you?
It's really hard to like sort of like work out, right? So I think the best way to get views on it is making videos that people rewatch before they actually click a like or something like that. But like it's your prison cellmate, and they're doing this because they want people to just comment. Like, it's a fun little game, but the idea is the more comments you get on it, the more it's boosting your content to get more views and stuff. I don't find this as actually effective as people think. Like, I did a video which is as Jesus, like looking up as if I was just looking at the previous video you were just watching before you scroll down. To me, judging you, I see what you were watching there. I'm watching you. My father is watching you. I had about 47,000 comments on this. The video didn't even reach a million views, sorry. Then there's that one, the Minecraft one, that had like 13 million views. It's got about 20,000 comments. It just doesn't correlate to me at that. So,
yeah, mad.
I think one of my favorite videos of yours so far is the vegan lady trying to tell us that Jesus would have been vegan, and there you are, just standing there eating a big, was it a Whopper? And I've never laughed so much in my entire life. And I was in the middle of a busy town centre at the moment.
Yeah. When I made that video in the first, I didn't know. I don't think it's absurd, but to say that he was back 2,000 years ago is bollocks, obviously. But she's even said that she's not religious or anything like that. But now she's constantly making videos saying, if you want to get to heaven, you better be vegan. It's like, why are you doing this? Why?
Scotty, can you just it all seemed to zone out for some reason there. My OBS kind of went down there. Can you just tell that story once again? Because it just
what is she here up to?
We basically, Josh had just said, you know, you were eating a burger, and it was the funniest thing he'd seen. And then as soon as you started talking, it just went and zoned out for some reason. So.
Okay, basically, I was saying, like, in the first video I did in the first place, it was just a harmless one. I didn't know much about the vegan teacher, so when I duetted it, I put in the description saying, no disrespect intended. Like, she may have a point, because I don't know, if Jesus was alive today, maybe he would be a vegan. I don't know, but 2,000 years ago, no, he wouldn't have been. And according to the Bible, like, God literally made every living thing that moves for consumption. But then when I started seeing later on what she was doing, it was like she even says that she's not religious, but now she's constantly making videos saying, if you want to get to heaven, you better be vegan. It's like, why? That was never a requirement in the Bible that you've clearly not read.
Do you think people just do it to sort of, they do it just to get the views? It's like that woman who's trying to make tea, the American woman who's trying to make tea, and she does it so badly that it blew up. And I was like, she's trolling. There's no way anybody's that stupid.
Hot water, milk, sugar, tea bag.
It's like, come on, man, that's not true. She said to me, it's like, she's bullshitting us, man. That can't be right. There's no way.
It's blatantly there, just microwaving it.
Yeah,
don't.
It's like, I was like, dude, Americans have kettles. There's no way this microwave shit, man. Just
as soon as she puts it in the microwave and says, "This is how I make hot tea," I was like, "Oh fuck!" Trigger warning.
I reacted to one of those as well, just like as Jesus, like British. Yeah, even Jesus is pissed off by Americans making.
Oh man, I got like, I can't even remember. It was some guy. He was just like, he was taking the piss out of how British people call cookies biscuits. And then he had him holding. He said, in America, this is a cookie. In the UK, this is a biscuit. And I put a comment, that's actually a cookie as well. biscuits are different, and I've never had so many. I had more likes on that comment than he had on his video, which is like,
he's like, you should never get me involved in like those sort of comments. And Americans are saying like, British say this, we say that. British say this, we say that. It's like a trash can, bin, sidewalk, pavement, and I'd say something like, it's called school, not shooting range.
Oh,
I've had this. Yeah, literally. I've had this conversation with a friend of mine in Florida because he goes, "Oh yeah, don't you guys have biscuits out there?" I said, "Yes, but we call them scones." What the hell is a scone? It's like, well, if you eat it quick enough.
Amazing, very good. More comments. I'm a Catholic, and that is like sorry, this is from Cassandra. I'm a Catholic, and that's like saying to be straight to go to heaven, but then they really do not. Sorry, I'm reading this badly. I am a Catholic, and that is like saying be straight to go to heaven, but they really do not. The actual text SMH. Oh, sorry, they really do not know. Sorry, she made a mistake. And it says, Luby Lou says, I love to have a biscuit versus cookie argument with my American friends. It's true, it's just like, you know, we do have cookies. They're just round and have chocolate chips in them or something like that. You know, biscuits are completely different things. But biscuits in America is like bread, isn't it? You know, kind of bread type stuff.
Yeah. But they Cookie Monster, we call it the same thing. Like,
yeah. It's just, you know, no offense to your American friends, you know, just, you're wrong. We do have cookies. Not everything it's biscuits and cookies.
Seen like there was a meme I saw somewhere. It's like it's a list of different languages saying like football. Like they've all got like football, all these sort of different languages around the same sort of word. Then at the end it's America, soccer.
Just laziness, isn't it?
It's one of those things, though. It's just like, obviously, you know, the superpower of the, you know, the world. They are, you know, they don't really need to go very many places. You know, they've got a lot of nice places in America, but it's like, you know, the World Series, but only Americans play it. And you know, when Americans play American football, it's like world champions. And it's like, but you're playing Americans. You're not playing the world. It's not like a World Cup. You're not playing everybody else.
Otherwise, there's like the autumn argument. I can't remember why we call it autumn. It was like a description, like we call it autumn because it's named after so and so, the goddess of this, and that for this time of year. Americans, we call it fall because
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we call it. Yeah, and it's like they like headlights. It's like we call them indicators. They call them blink because they blink, and they call them blinkers because they blink.
There was like a gaming sort of video I saw recently. It was like a American versus like British and that. It's like, do you reckon like British people all just like look down on us? Yeah, we do because you're a bunch of morons. Like it's like, oh, okay, just because I can own an AR, you don't have to point it out. It's like. At least I can go to the pet. Like, at least I don't get coronavirus just by going to the pet shop. It's like you go to the pet shop and you get stabbed. It's like we don't have like 71,000 people dying a day or so from curable disease. It's like you don't even have protection. Yes, we do. We have free healthcare.
Oh, so don't get into free healthcare.
90-year-old woman, yours an orange.
This is the best argument when somebody goes, oh yeah, I carry an AR-15. It's an assault rifle. I say, AR does not stand for assault rifle. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. It stands for arc light. Huh? Exactly.
Does it? I always, yeah, and I did a military history degree, so I should know this, but it stands for arc light?
Arc light, what it's made of.
Right, okay, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that until a couple of weeks ago either, don't worry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, had about an hour and 15, so I think that's good enough for us tonight. Had a very, very interesting conversation. Enjoyed that very much. So I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much to everybody who has joined in on the conversation. So Luby Lou, Cassandra, Eleanor, appreciate all the comments. That was great. And Scotty, thank you very much, man. Really appreciate that. Very, very insightful, very, very amusing, and keep on doing what you're doing. It's great to see, great to watch. So from tonight, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Peter Ray Allison.
Good night and take care, everyone.
Josh Varney.
Be excellent to each other.
And Tick Tock Jesus, Scotty Wartooth. Night, everybody.